This entire year, we have been talking about just how bullish XRP has been. I mean, the last year alone, just taking a quick look at price action, I would say it's pretty obvious how bullish XRP has been. But one thing that's very clear is that we are in the month that could change everything for XRP. And we're not just talking about price action, we're talking about growing acceptance and adoption from Wall Street giants. That's right, it's October, which means we are in the month where we are going to witness some of the largest decisions around XRP-based ETFs. When we are thinking about this is going to be very exciting for those that are holding XRP because so far the last year has been very, very bullish for us, especially for those that were buying during the bear market lows. We were buying around 20 to 30 cents. And today we're still trading at $3 after hitting a high of $3 and like 60 plus cents this year already. And we are wondering and trying to guess exactly where XRP can go this cycle. And again, a lot of people have their own predictions, but the main thing that we are focused on here is the big catalyst awaiting us, which is, yes, the ETF approvals. When it comes to price action, I don't think that I need to tell you guys that, yes, price can change significantly with ETF approvals, especially at the scale of the ones that we have with XRP, because we witnessed it firsthand with Bitcoin and also even Ethereum. Now today, when we are looking at Fiat Leak, we could obviously see that there is a ton of XRP being traded per minute. And at some times, especially recently with all of the big spikes around crypto, we were watching as this hit 1+ million, and even going back earlier this year, we were watching this hit like 5 to 10 million plus, which was just insane. Obviously, the demand around XRP fits the narrative that it is the number 3 largest crypto asset, and there is a ton of demand for XRP as well. And when we think about that, we're obviously looking into ETFs because if the demand is there for XRP in this space, and if we are seeing such significant adoption happening around the XRP ecosystem, we obviously have to take a step back and put ourselves in the shoes of these filers that are looking at crypto ETFs as a moneymaker. Because again, the biggest thing that sells them on an ETF is how much demand is there? How much money can we make off of this thing? When it comes to XRP, I feel as if it's very obvious that they can make a ton of money off of this because again, it is the 3rd largest crypto asset. But also, the last 12 months have just been very significant for XRP and XRP holders. So when we think about this, if I was an ETF filer, asset management company, or just company around, ETFs alone, I would 100% be starving to have my XRP ETF get approved, or at least even file for one. This is also why a lot of people think that BlackRock is getting ready to do so. And I do believe that they will. But October isn't just a huge month for XRP ETFs. There's 16 current XRP ETF applications on the SEC's October calendar. So we're watching this closely, especially with the recent update from the SEC. They changed the framework around ETFs. We've been talking about it quite heavily, I would argue. And we're really locked in on this because I feel as if we are about to witness a major shift around these ETFs. There's a quote here, and this is from James Seifer. He said, again, the key question is how much demand actually exists for altcoin ETFs? This has been a question that a lot of people have been asking, especially even over time, right? They say, all right, well, how much demand is there for altcoins, even before ETFs were a thing? I feel like alt season is a big signal of just how much demand there is for altcoins. When we look at what James did say, he noted in an episode that Solana and XRP stand out because of their existing futures markets, but he cautioned against expecting Bitcoin level inflows. They will do decently well as far as flows and assets under management go, but the long-term growth story may lie in basket or index products. Now, I do kind of disagree with him on this. I do think that XRP ETFs could rally against some of these larger ETFs. Now, are we going to rally against Bitcoin ETFs? It's hard to say. I really do think that a lot of people kind of lack knowledge of what XRP is doing and what XRP is. So that's why we have been seeing such success for the Bitcoin ETFs, because a lot of people just know about it. Over time they've heard about it as well. So it's kind of common for them to look into Bitcoin ETFs. So with XRP, it's questionable on if there's going to be that level of demand, but I could definitely see it being there. But talking about ETFs, right? Because this said 16. This has quickly changed. Here we have another post from HBAR Tata. This is Osprey Funds with Rec Shares. Yes, the same Osprey Funds and Rec Shares that does have a XRP ETF already trading live. They filed for 21 crypto ETFs, including an HBAR ETF. Things are getting pretty wild. Now, if you think this is crazy, because we went from 16 to an additional 21, so now we're at 37, well, guess what? There's another 30 plus crypto related ETFs filed with the SEC this afternoon. Just the beginning. Any crypto ETF you can possibly imagine will be filed with the SEC over the next several months. You all have no idea what's coming. This is from Nate Garalshi. And if we're looking into this, yes, this does include the Osprey ones, but also the Defiance Daily ones. Look at all of these ETFs. I mean, it's crazy to see just how much demand there is for crypto related ETFs. It's heating up more and more and more. It's becoming a much larger piece of Wall Street. And I feel like TradFi is just flooding in on these ETF products. They want a slice of the pie, but still there's, things that are keeping them out of this space. Yes, we still have like a large amount of, players in the space. Like for an example, we have Franklin Templeton here, Wisdom Tree. I mean, there's some big names. BlackRock's already here as well, Fidelity, but you got to remember that a lot of these players are just floating around the tokenization space. We don't see peak adoption. We don't see adoption at scale. They're not utilizing the tech just yet. The thing that I'm waiting for is regulations to open those floodgates. Yes, ETFs are great. Yes, it means that we're starting to see their clients get exposed to these products. It's great for adoption. It's great for growth. It's great for, volume flooding in. But I'm waiting for that utilization phase. That phase will change everything for the space. That's what I'm watching. But on top of this, we know CME Group, they're about to launch a 24/7 crypto futures and options trading in 2026. Another huge feature to go along with the peak. This is, by the way, something that's very similar to what the NYSE wants to do in 2026. But this is another thing that goes along with like the peak adoption phase of DeFi and DeFi related products. I feel like all of these big players are now starting to shift towards like DeFi standards. And again, another post from Nate, he did mention the same thing. He even said here, with crypto futures and options trading reaching record levels on CME, the world's leading derivatives marketplace announces 24/7 trading beginning in early 2026. TradFi quickly conforming to DeFi standards. Just the beginning. I mean, when we look at what's happening here, almost every single TradFi platform, from just derivatives marketplaces to even stock marketplaces, they're all switching up to 24/7 or 24/5 trading. This is very bullish on, a signal of where we're going. Because again, we've talked about crypto adoption, we've talked about mass adoption of the tech, utilization at scale. For years, we've talked about this. I feel like 2025 is finally the year where we're starting to see the biggest names in the world around trading and finance officially cave and say, we need to do something. We need to do either 24/5 or 24/7, and we need to adopt this tech. And now they're doing it. 2026 seems as though it's going to be the year where the NYSE does this, CME Group does this, and I'm questioning on who's going to be next. Now, on top of this, there is another big update regarding XRP ETFs. You guys probably already remember the original $5 billion inflow. Well, this is with Paul Barron on the Paul Barron Network. Big shout out to Zafe Crypto for this. We have Steve. I may have been a little bearish, not 5 billion now. I'm bullish on $10 billion in inflows for the XRP ETF. If that happens, XRP could rank among the best performing ETFs in history. Check this out.
What about in terms of the XRP ETF? We'll talk about your Solana ETF, but you look at XRP and you had the bold prediction actually on our show talking about the 5 billion inflows in the first month. Do you feel still strongly that that could happen?
I may have changed my mind. I may have been a little bearish.
Oh, okay. I love it when Steve is bearish on
But
5
I'm
billion.
going to hold to that number because, if it hits that number, then at least, I'll be right. And if it's 10 billion, then I'm still right because, we got at least 5 billion.
Where would that put? That would put it up as one of the best performing ETFs, maybe in all of history.
It would. I mean, it would certainly, if we saw that kind of inflow, I think it would be definitely in the top 20 ETF of all times, if not in the top 10. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, we saw how big of a response that Bitcoin got.
Yeah, well, that's what was it, like 3.2 billion in the first, right, 3 billion in one day. So the capacity there for an ETF of seeing in excess of 5 billion in a month for XRP, you feel is underreported.
Yeah, I think it is. I think that's a very safe bet, in my opinion. I certainly think that. I mean, let's go kind of back in time when we launched Bitcoin futures when I was with another firm. The first day there was over $1 billion in inflows, which made it.
So yeah, I mean, listen, if we are thinking about this, and by the way, for those out there wondering who this individual is, this is Stephen McClurg from Canary Capital. Yes, they already do have an XRP ETF set up. When we are thinking about what's happening here, okay, the biggest thing that we are addressing is just how much demand could there be for XRP? We gauge this going off of previous cycles. We gauge this off of 2021, for an example, because 2021 was a very interesting time. Yes, XRP essentially got handicapped by the SEC. It didn't really perform all that well. It got delisted from all major exchanges. But the thing that I stress the most is that with all of that negativity, I mean, we're talking about peak negativity around XRP as an asset, it still performed significantly well. It outperformed majority of altcoins. It did a 1,100+% push from March of 2020 to the top of 2021. We're talking about an asset that got involved in a huge lawsuit, a lawsuit heard around the world, an asset that got delisted off of every single major exchange, and an asset that was 100% tossed under the bus and pretty much forgotten about. But it still did an 1,100% push, reaching billions of dollars in open interest, billions of dollars in trading volume in the last 24 hours. I mean, think about how much demand there is for XRP if it did all of that while in the middle of a lawsuit with all of that negativity surrounding it. This is why when we think about XRP and the ETFs around it, specifically the list of ETFs pending with a decision in the month of October, we're talking about 6 ETFs waiting on the sidelines for the deadline to hit. October could be one of the largest months for XRP in history, but it could also be a huge signal of just how much demand there is for XRP out there. And if XRP hits that $10 billion in inflows, it is going to be it's going to be a historical time for XRP and XRP holders. We're watching this closely. We're locked in on this closely. Towards the end of the month, We have to be addressing this as well. We're going to be locked in on it. If any updates come from the SEC, I am very excited about these decisions. I'm very excited to see these ETFs get approved as well if we do get them in October. If we do, it's going to be a very good time. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.